Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Ian Riccaboni Opens Wrestling Stuff. Last week we opened the Pro Wrestling Crate, which was really cool. It had all kinds of stuff. It had t-shirts, it had a micro brawler, it had a great DVD, a comic book. Today, we're going to open up some wrestling cards. The first professional wrestling cards were in the Allen and Ginter set. They were part of a big tobacco effort. And it's crazy, but back then you could do whatever you wanted to advertise tobacco to children. A lot of people are familiar with the T206 Honus Wagner baseball card, which is arguably one of the most valuable and important baseball cards of all time. But before that, Allen and Ginter, a tobacco company, offered up trading cards inside of their tobacco products to entice kids and adults alike to purchase their products. Then it wasn't until another about 60 years later when these popped up. And these are the Topps Ringside Boxing collection, but as you see here with this Don Eagle card, they included some wrestlers as well. And so Don Eagle, he was one of the members of the set. He was in the Caughnawaga Indian Reservation in Quebec, Canada. He was a great pro wrestler in the 40s and 50s. And that's really cool, although it can be kind of pricey on eBay. I want to thank Carrie Silken for introducing me to these. Over the years, wrestling cards have come and gone, including some great efforts in 1981 with the All-Star Wrestling set, and then throughout the 80s, everything from cereal bars to wrestling ice cream bars included ice cream. And, you know, when I was growing up, these were the big ones, the 87 Topps WWF set. And at one point, I even tried to collect a PSA graded set. I still have about 75% of the set graded, some in PSA 9, mostly in PSA 8. Despite their abundance, these are still really difficult to get in great condition because the corners tend to get stubbed pretty easily. So Hulk Hogan was in it, Coco Beware, Billy Jack Haynes, Hercules, Kamala, the Dream Team, Johnny V, Honky Tonk Man, Don Morocco, and so much more. I know last week we talked about how funny it was that Acts of Demolition seemed to be in every possible merchandise item, but Smash was not. Interestingly enough, the tables were turned. In 1987, Smash made the side sticker set, while Axe did not. So today, we're going to open up a pack of wrestling cards. With all this wrestling talk, in about 2000 or 1999, when eBay was first starting, I not only loaded up on these 1987 Topps cards I grew up with, because at the time you could get boxes upon boxes, even cases, for $10 to $20. I was also interested in finding wrestling cards that I'd never seen before. And when I searched WWF wrestling cards, I got 100 packs of these for $10 with shipping. And these are 1992 Merlin trading cards. In the United States, I believe Merlin was most known for having sticker sets. In Italy, however, they also did trading cards. And some of you may be familiar with some of the cards from that era, from 1992. Classic put out a blue bordered set. These Merlin cards are pretty cool though. So we're going to take a look, and at the end of this video, we're going to give away another t-shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees from the Pro Wrestling Crate, this time a former ROH World Television Champion Tommaso Ciampa. And I got so many of these laying around, we'll throw in one of these too. So let's take a look and see what's inside. Now the packaging on these, I mean, these are now 27 years old, but the packaging reminds me a lot of the sticker sets that you could get in the early 90s. It's foil, so it's a little tough. As you can see, I'm having difficulty getting the cards out of the package here. And these are pretty cool. I've opened up a lot of these over the years. I put together a full set when I first purchased these. So first thing out of the gate that I noticed is the interesting design. You know, there's not a whole lot of these out here, and they got the white border, some bold colors, not super indicative of the 90s. They're kind of understated, but when you start to look at some of the wrestlers, like Coco Beware in this sweet sequin jumpsuit, then you'll notice that the wrestlers are definitely from the 90s. So as we go through these, the first guy out of the package is Sgt Slaughter, which is interesting because these are from 1992. The trademark on the back of this particular card is from 91, and it actually talks about Sgt Slaughter teaming with Hacksaw Jim Duggan in the Sopa Nome de Team for America. So I never knew that tag team had a name, but as you can see, this is from his introduction back to the WWF when he was a drill sergeant. So interesting photo choice there. Then we have one of my good friends, Luke de Bushwhackers. Luke of the Bushwhackers. Wish you well, Luke. I know you're out there. Coco Beware, like we saw before. And it's interesting because there's a lot of cognates, there's a lot of words in Italian that are spelled incredibly similar in English, so you can actually read some of these trading cards if you want and probably understand what they say. Here's the Berserker. Of course, he tried to impale the Undertaker in 1992, tried to stab him with a sword, so that's always interesting. He was originally known as the Viking. I remember seeing him on an episode of TV and turning back, and the next week he was the Berserker. This one's pretty interesting. Bret the Hitman Hart, he's got his pants on backwards. You see where it says Hitman, that's normally on his butt. But who am I to talk about fashion? I'm slowly evolving into a high school gym teacher, so I have no room to talk. Hacksaw Jim Duggan with blonde haircut. That's pretty cool. And then the Big Boss Man, and this photo is from 1988. You could tell because of the yellow background and the flat top. It's interesting to note how they just used kind of any photo. There wasn't really a style guide, but that yellow background was synonymous with he and Akeem's promo photos from that time. And then my favorite, Sid Justice. So Sid here is shown in front of this sunburst background, not unlike my first grade yearbook photo. And Sid, of course, would go on to be in the main event at WrestleMania 8 in 1992. So these are pretty cool. You get 8 cards per pack. There's 150 cards in the set, meaning that you probably have to open a full 24 packs or so, I'd guess, to make the full set. It took me about 30 to get the full set when I got these in 2000. So I have a boatload of these hanging around. They're pretty cool cards. They're still super cheap. They're kind of a curiosity. They didn't make it here in the United States. And they have a lot of different photography other than the Sid. Like this Coco Beware photo, I don't remember ever showing up anywhere. Same thing with, for instance, this Bret Hart photo that has this really thin heart with his pants on backwards, so that's always interesting. And then this picture of Sgt Slaughter, I don't really remember this one either. So it's a cool set. Throughout the set, there's some different photos that you really didn't see in the magazines, you didn't see in the sticker books and the other trading cards. So if you can find it for cheap, I definitely say go for it. And it's fun. You can open it up and reminisce about the guys that you're used to watching when you were a kid. So last week we had a contest. We said who was going to win the Ring of Honor World Championship at Death Before Dishonor. Of course, that was El Toro Blanco Rouge. And we had a couple of correct answers, a couple of correct guesses, but Steve Gutierrez, you've won the Young Bucks t-shirt. This week, same deal, never before worn. It was still in the Pro Wrestling Crate. T-shirt of Tommaso Ciampa, my fellow Sicilian. Tommaso Ciampa calls himself the Sicilian Psychopath, or at least did when he was in Ring of Honor. Now he goes by Blackheart. And huge feud, great matches with Johnny Gargano. Of course, had great matches in Ring of Honor with the World TV title. This time around, all you have to do is tell me who you think will emerge the number one contender for the tournament to crown the number one contender at Final Battle. So your 4 choices are PCO, Dalton Castle, Marty Scurll, and Jay Lethal. Those are your 4 choices. You can either quote tweet me on Twitter when this video is released there, or respond in the comments and subscribe. Well, that's it for this week in Ian Riccaboni Opens Wrestling Stuff. Thanks for joining us here on week 2. Next week, I won't look like a high school gym teacher. Or will I? Happy wrestling, everybody.